Hey there, listeners, and welcome to Film Jot Reviews Yesterday, a film set in current day about a struggling musician whom, after a global blackout and a bus accident, wakes up to find that he is the only person alive who remembers the Beatles and uses their music to jumpstart his own musical career. Directed by Danny Boyle, one of the most diverse filmmakers in this business, from 28 Days Later to Trainspotting, Slumdog Millionaire, 127 Hours, and none of his films really fit into similar categories, and they all have a uniqueness to them that this film, Yesterday, is no exception to. Clearly doesn't need a large budget or a fancy film style to capture a story or a moment. But of course, it helps when you cast the right people to carry the film. Making his motion picture debut, Hamish Patel plays the lead of the film, Jack, the failing musician, an average Joe type of character who is trying to make his dream come true while keeping the integrity of such beloved songs. From moment to moment, we feel his confusion and frustrations and truly captures a man trying to make the best of an odd situation. It may not be the performance of the year or even singer of the year, but was well on capturing the situational realism that the film needed. Right beside him, for at least 50% of the film, is the lovely Lily James, who was the lead in Disney's 2015 Cinderella, and has continued to pop up in support roles in interesting films such as Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, and one of my personal favorites, 2017's Baby Driver. In this film, she again gives a lot in her performance with very little time and few lines. I wish the script would have lent itself more to her, but the story isn't entirely about her, and she still manages to do well with what she was given. The rest of the cast does well within their moments. Ed Sheeran, as himself, wasn't cringy or terrible, but the character could have easily been swapped out with another name from today's radio. The script slash story of the film was attempting to accomplish two things. One, tell a love story through a struggling newfound artist, and two, be a sort of love letter to the Beatles. And sadly, I don't think the film truly accomplished either one of those things. The love story and plot of a man struggling to make it in music and losing himself and tries to figure out what is important to him is so diluted and cliched in the film. It hits every thinkable story beat and never gets so drastic that you worry about the characters or what's going on. Everything moves too smoothly and simple, going beat by beat until the film ultimately ends. And don't get me wrong, the pacing is good and doesn't let the film feel too prolonged, but it's a story we've seen before, and this one will ultimately be forgettable. I know that sounds harsh, especially considering that I did enjoy the film for the most part. I don't think it's bad, just simple, cute, and will come to pass. Not something to avoid, but not something to be sought out. And as far as being a love note to the Beatles, it also falls short. They have hints of trying to say, hey, these songs are so important that the world would be different without them. But it's kind of always played a bit as a joke and short-handed that they could have easily switched the Beatles out for another band and kept everything else about the script without it affecting the plot. They needed to capture why these songs are so important and how they affected millions of people on a deeper level, which again, they hint at but never really went for it or for the high stakes. Overall, this was a cute, simple to enjoy film with a little bit of heart to it, and clearly coming from a place of love for one of the greatest bands in music history, but is just a bit lackluster. It had potential from premise to directing and casting, but the storytelling came short. I can't tell people not to go see it, but I won't be spreading the word much about this film either. Anyways, there we have it, Yesterday. Make sure to let me know what you thought of the film over on Twitter at FilmJot or Instagram at film_jot. Also, in case you haven't noticed, I'm playing around with the audio again. So if you think it's coming in better or sounds louder, or if you think maybe it's too loud now or a bit fuzzy, make sure you let me know so I can get right on it for you guys. Thanks again to anyone for listening, and until next time, this is FilmJot. Stay friendly, you guys.